In case you forget. Welcome back. We're going to talk about the very first lesson in our logic unit. Okay? We're officially in the unit 2. We're past lines and angles. We're talking about logic. Logic is a word that is not a super mathy word. Okay? Logic is something that you can use. Logic is something that you can use in normal, everyday talk. And typically logic just means, proof, all right? You say like, how do you know that tomorrow's Friday? You could just say like, logic, right? Today's Thursday, so tomorrow's Friday, okay? Logic is something that is all about true, guys, we're just getting started. It's all about truth and false. So, today, got a little bit of some notes on logic, okay? It's going to be a good bit of writing, but it should not really hurt your brain at all. We don't need Desmos at all. In fact, it's not even really going to seem like math, okay? A statement is a sentence that is either true or false, okay? A statement could be one like, the sky is blue, or the statement could be one like, we're in Florida, which is false. You're going to work with straight up not true statements for this, like day to day, for your classwork, for your quiz, for your test. It might be a sentence that says, 3 is an even number. No, it's not, right? So false statements are something we're going to have to work with, okay? That's going to give it a truth value, okay? Basically, your truth value, you can see a little box here that says truth value, is either true or false, okay? So don't let that, sound super complicated. Your truth value is either going to be true or false. Now, the statements themselves, you might have already gotten this wrong if you're working ahead of me. The statements are going to be referred to using the letters P's and Q's most of the time, okay? So, we're not talking about whether it's true or false, we're just talking about the statement, okay? So if you look at this example, the P out front is like the name of the statement, okay? The name of the statement is supplementary angles have a sum of 180. What would you assign for the truth value? Is that true or is that false?
It's true.
Supplementary angles, true. Have a sum of 180. Okay? The whole saying false when it's true thing is not all that funny for high schoolers, but okay? Then we have negation, which is all about negatives or opposites, okay? So the negation of a statement is the opposite truth value, opposite. Okay? And we have this symbol, squiggly line, which is going to be read as not. So, again, if we look at this example, squiggly line P is the same statement as P, but with a big not in there. So it says, supplementary angles do not have a sum of 180. Would you consider that to be true or false?
False.
That's false. You're right. Again, false statements, we're going to see them, we're going to work with them all the time. If you make a pass. Okay. Now, compound statements. This is like, if all we had to do was read a sentence and tell you true or false, that would be like a very silly unit for a math class, okay? Compound statements is where it's going to get difficult. Today, I don't think it's very hard today. By the time we get to next Friday, a lot of this stuff has built up, okay? Compound statements is 2 or more. All right, the or more stuff is a little scary, but for today it's pretty much just going to be 2. Statements, and again, a statement is basically just a sentence.
Sentence past.
Thank you. Joined by the words, and here's our big ones today. And I'm not even sure if we can really see that very well. Here we go. And, or.
Two or more statements.
Two or more statements joined by the words and or. And even though and or are not typically super important words, today they are extremely important words, okay? Today, more or less, we need to learn what this means as far as math. Jason, if you pull your computer right here, I'll accept your pass. Gotcha. So for conjunction, conjunctions are statements joined by the word and, okay? If I was you, I would put the word and nice and big right by the word conjunction. You're good. You can grab a pass and head out. You're welcome. Conjunction, to work together, and here's our symbol. Couple different ways you could think about how this symbol looks. You could think of it like a capital A with no bar. You could think of it like a mountain. You could think of it like a less than or greater sign that's, opening downwards instead. Probably the best way to think about it is that this symbol with a bar across makes an A, and that makes a lot of sense, right? And with that downward symbol. That's an easy way to remember it. It's not all that bad. And this is true when both statements are true. More or less, today is all going to be about the difference between ands and ors, and the important thing is that and requires both things to be true. Okay? What do you say?
What if two things are false?
Then they're false. I mean, they're only going to be true if they're both true. So if one of them's false, false. The other one's false, false. Both of them are false, false. We'll talk about it. Disjunction, we already talked about and, so guess what we got here? Disjunction is joined by the word or. What do you think the symbol is for the or? It's basically like a capital V. But really, I want you to think of it more as just the upside down of the and symbol. It's not actually a V. You're not going to say PVQ. You're going to say P or Q. And here's the big difference. This is true when at least one of the statements is true. Okay. We've written a lot of stuff down. In actuality, let's kind of look at what the little vocab words we have here. Okay. Statements are true and false. Okay, sure, whatever. That's not very complicated. Like, that's not going to be even a question. Okay. We do need to know that this little squiggly line means to make the opposite sentence. Supplementary angles do not have a sum. And then here's really what we want to learn, okay? That and statements are true when both are true, or statements are true when at least one is true. Okay, that's really 90% of what we're trying to learn today. So, here's what we're going to do. Question 1, okay? For all of these, we have 3 sentences. We have P, there are 7 days in a week. We have Q, March has exactly 30 days. And we have R, Halloween is on October 31st. Before we even start, let's think about these sentences and decide if they're true or false. There are 7 days in a week. True or false? I agree with you. P is a true statement. Again, that probably doesn't seem like a very normal math question, but here we are. Okay? Q, March has exactly 30 days. Do we know if it has 30 or 31? I heard false. Have you guys ever seen the trick with like your fingers like this, or I guess your knuckles like this? You guys ever seen this? So if you want to remember the months of the year, you can do your knuckles like this.
It has 31 days.
So the tops of your knuckles are 31s, and then the in-betweens is 30. So you say January 31, February, March 31, April, May 31, June, July 31, and then when you jump to your other hand, August is also 31. That's a really weird thing. July and August, right next to each other, they both have 31 days. It's not a true zigzag. Would be nice, but it's not, for whatever reason. So, March has exactly 30 days. False. March has 31 days. And the last one, Halloween, it's right around the corner in about 31 days or so. Halloween is on October 31st. What do you think? That is true, of course. Okay, so now, that's not really math at all, okay? If I ask you Halloween's on October 31st, I don't even know, that's not for any class. That's just some like silly 4th grader thing where you learn about, holidays or something. I don't know. What is important is this statement, okay? We get this symbol, and this symbol represents a compound sentence that is either true or false. So sure, P is true, Q is false, R is true, but what about P symbol Q? Okay, first of all, what does that symbol represent? Is that our and or our or? That is our and symbol. I'm going to write and underneath here. Okay? So this question is saying P and Q. So if we're going to solve P and Q, here you go. You're welcome. If we're going to solve P and Q, we're going to write down the sentence for P. Can you bring the computer up here so I can do it without changing the screen? There are 7 days in a week. You can go ahead, I'll do it in a second. Oh, trying to think. 4 different things at a time. There are 7 days in a week, and March has exactly 30 days. Whew. Writing. Today, everybody's favorite day. Writing. Blah. Okay. The most important one is this and word. Okay. And we need to come up with a truth value. As far as and is concerned, both statements must be true. What do you think? For this question, are both statements considered to be true? There are 7 days. Yes. March has exactly 30 days. No. This truth value is false. Okay? Basically, we have a check and an X. And when it comes to ands, we need check, check. We don't have check, check, so we have false. Again, this probably doesn't even really seem like a math question. Like, it's very strange. It will get mathy the longer and the more logic that we learn. For now, it's just a little strange. All right, we got this symbol again. Is this the and or the or symbol? It's the and symbol. Okay, we're looking right here. Here's our and symbol. Okay, this one is Q and R, so that would be March has exactly 30 days. Again, the important word is and. Also with Halloween is on October 31st. Okay. In order for this to be true, we need true and true. We need both of them to be true. Is Q a true statement? Unfortunately, no. Q is not a true statement. Is R a true statement? Yes. In order for and to be true, it has to be totally true. Everything has to be true. This is going to be false. What's that?
Which symbol means it's true? Like
Right here, look. You can fill it out on your paper just like I have it on mine. You see what I'm saying? Just fill out these boxes at the top. All right, we have one left, and I'm sure you're thinking at this point, I'm kind of sick of writing. We already talked about P and Q and R. We're going to go super fast here. We're almost halfway done with these questions. So, P, 7 days in a week. 7 days in a week. We have another and symbol. So we have an and statement which requires them both to be true. We also have Halloween, R says Halloween is on October 31st. Okay, what do you think? Truth value? True. It is true. Why is it true? Yeah, because P is a true statement and R is a true statement. When it comes to and, you need both truths. All right, we're probably getting a little bored. We're probably thinking, this is weird. This is not even really, where's all the numbers, right? Where's my equal signs? Maybe this is nice because there are no equal signs. There are no numbers. So let's get all these questions right, okay? Easy peasy. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're not going to worry about the bottom, okay? But we are going to do 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay? So don't cross those out, but we're not going to be making our own. And we're still going to use the 3 statements from the front of the paper, which is why I give you 2 separate sheets so that you can look back and forth. All right? So here's what I got. Here's my PQR. PQR. 7 days, March, Halloween. Number 4, if you're starting to snooze on me a little bit, number 4 does bring a lot of different stuff, okay? For number 4, are we working with and or ors? This is still an and statement because we have that little A in the middle. It doesn't have the little cross on it, but that's okay. But we have a new symbol here, which is the squiggly line. And what does the squiggly line mean? It means opposite. So whatever P is, we need the opposite of P. Okay? P is true, so we need the opposite of that. This sentence should say, instead of there are 7 days in a week, this sentence should say, there are not. Right? You just slap a little not in there. There are not 7 days in a week. We still have that word and at this point we should already know the answer. All right? There are not 7 days in a week, and Q, just a normal plain Q, which says March has exactly 30 days. March has 30 days. What do we think about this statement? What is the truth value of this compound statement? This is false. This one's not even close to being true, right? Because it is false and false. We would need double true in order for it to be true. What did you say? Nice catch. Kevin's already looking ahead. We have this V shape. Again, it's not actually a V, but it does look like a V. This is our OR symbol, okay? So our OR symbol works differently than the AND symbol. Instead of needing both for our OR statement, all we need is at least one for it to be true. So as long as we get a single check, we're going to be in good shape. All right? P says 7 days in a week. Again, I'm sure we're getting sick of writing. 7 days in a week. Or, and R says Halloween's on October 31st. Halloween, October 31st. What is the true statement of this compound statement? Or what is the truth value of this compound statement, I should say? This is true, right? Again, this might be a little bit annoying, but hopefully it seems too easy. Like,
It's like the easiest unit.
it's not all that hard, okay? All right, we're mixing it up a little bit. We've got not Q, V, R. It's not really a V. What does the V mean? Or. So we have not Q or R. Okay? Q is our March 30 days statement. So not Q is, March does not have exactly 30 days. We have our or for our conjuncture, or for our compound, I should say. And then we have plain R, that's our Halloween one. Remember, for or statements, we only need one truth. I'm hoping that we can pretty much figure out the truth value just by looking at this for like 1 second. Okay? So what do you think?
It's true.
The truth value should be true. We have another true and true. As long as one's right, we should be good. Okay, here's the big one. I think question 7 is like the most interesting question on the whole page. We have not P, V, not R. Is this an and or an or statement? It's an or statement. Not P. That means the opposite of P. So instead of P saying there are 7 days in a week, not P, there are not. There are not 7 in a week. And then not are, instead of saying Halloween's on October 31st, not are should say, Gesundheit, Halloween is not on October 31st. Okay, again, I think this is the most important one of the whole day. What is our truth value for this compound going to be? What'd you say? False. There are not 7 days in a week. That's just wrong. There are 7 days in a week. Halloween is not on October 31st. That's wrong. Yes, it is. For an or statement, we only need one truth, but for this question, we have false, false. So, false it is. All right, last one. I'm just going to quickly, not P is the opposite of P. We literally just did that, all right? There are not 7 in a week. For some reason I'm skipping words. Or not Q. Not Q is the opposite of the March statement. So March does not have exactly 30 days. Just hold off on the bathroom pass for 1 second. Okay, we've set it up. We've got the not version of P. We've got the not version of Q.
It's false. Because they are 7 days a week and true. It's false. They're not 7 days. So it is false.
I've heard lots of false and I've heard lots of trues. Okay? Remember, this is an or statement. And or statements mean, do we need both of them true or do we need only one of them true?
Both.
For or statements, we only need one true. Okay? That's been the case for all of these. And if it's an or statement, you only need one true fact.
So if it's an and, it requires both to be true.
Yep. So looking at P, not P, there are not 7 days in a week. Wrong. Not Q, March does not have 30 days. That's actually a true statement. That has a truth value of true. The compound statement together is true. The compound statement is considered true because it is an or statement, which means we only need one true fact, and we have one true fact. March does not have exactly 30 days.
I have a question.
Yep.
The first part of the notes, the first page, can I see it? It's like the rest out.
Of course. All right, that's it. Statements, easy peasy.